in debate. Wow, that's cool. Look at his stator. See all the oil right there? The stator area. That is so cool. That big round thing in front of his foot. And so, folks, around the 1990s, atheists started saying, okay, well, maybe God can exist, but not the Christian God. In the 90s, we moved the atheists from God doesn't exist to, okay, God can exist, but not the Christian God. Now, folks, listen to this. I don't know this guy, by the way. This is not planned. Now, because atheists have been getting their butts kicked in debate, now atheists like Matt Dillahunty, Richard Dawkins. All right, folks, join me again today for another great video on this motorcycle, the epic Kawasaki Z1000. We're going to start off this video with a couple of questions for atheists. Number one, atheists, why do you guys always bash God but never Satan? They're both talked about in the Bible. Could you be taking sides? Also, atheists, another question I have for you is, how does it feel to be in atheism, a view of which has zero evidence? It's all based on blind faith and ignorance. And then the other question I have for you is, why do you guys lie? There's 7 lies I have here that atheists always say, and we're going to be debunking their lies. I used to be an atheist, but I left the dark side for the truth in Christianity. One of the main reasons why I left atheism was the lack of evidence. You know, if you're going to make a decision, don't you want to make a decision to believe in something based on evidence? But atheists lie and say they lack a belief. We're going to talk about why they lie and say that. They also say, well, I'll go through the 7 things on the motorcycle. It's much more exciting. Let's start off this video the way we always do. We love the atheists, but it really ticks them off when I say this. Atheists, let me ask you a question. What do you think makes more rational sense? That this motorcycle is the product of intelligent design, and intelligent mind made this? In other words, it was thought about and then put together with intelligent design, or that it's the product of random chance and luck? Like the Big Bang, like you guys say the Big Bang was a massive explosion with no purpose, that's what atheists say, and out of that, humans evolved over millions and billions of years. So I would ask you, what makes more sense? That this motorcycle is the result of a big explosion, all the pieces came together, or that it is intricately the product of intelligent design? I think we all know the answer to that. Now, atheists have a problem. The body of the atheist is well over 1 million times more complex than this motorcycle. So if we admit that the motorcycle is the product of intelligent design, we are inescapably committed to admit that our bodies, with the respiratory system, the exoskeleton, the inner skeleton, I should say, our brain, our eyes, the way they're designed, our arteries, everything, our lungs, how our stomach is located. We eat the food goes to the stomach. It's obviously, we are obviously a product of intelligent design. So let's start off with these lies. And before we do, I'm going to be proving this with proof and evidence. Are we filming still? Recording? Yes. With proof and evidence, all below this video, I'm going to be giving you actual links to what I'm saying that is true. You can check it out. Unlike our atheist friends, bless their sweet little primate hearts, unlike our atheist friends that believe atheism is true based on blind faith and ignorance, I, ladies and gentlemen, as your humble Christian servant, we'll base everything on proof and evidence. So let's start off with the number one lie. We have 7 lies that atheists always tell, and I'm going to be ripping them to shreds. I'm going to be ripping the atheist 7 arguments to shreds like the angels ripped Sodom and Gomorrah to shreds. You know, there are a lot of atheists in Sodom and Gomorrah. So let's start off with a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. So, you know, when you're going to make a decision to follow a certain view, whether it be atheism, Christianity, Islam, don't you look at the evidence? But atheism lacks evidence. There's no evidence that would finally at last prove that atheism is accurate and correct, folks. I have more respect for people in Judaism or Judaism, depending on how you pronounce it, and Muslims. I have more respect for Muslims. At least they admit that the earth is the product of intelligent design and all of creation is the product of intelligent design. I have no respect for stupidity. A stupid atheist that says that there was a massive explosion and all of this just came into being by luck and chance, no design and no objective purpose, no purpose at all. In fact, I'll go as far to say I have more respect for someone that believes in Zeus. Even though that's stupid, at least the person believing in Zeus is smart enough to know that there is a creator. Here we go, brother. He's on a Ducati. See if he's getting on the freeway like I am. Yes, we are. All right, we're going to see if we can keep up with this Ducati. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am on a Z1000. Extremely powerful. Going so fast. Hold on. I don't want this to rip like shreds. Okay, so let's start off with number 1 here. Atheists say they lack a belief. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you why atheists say this. Because they lack arguments against the existence of God. This is why they say it. They have no arguments against the existence of God, folks. Zero, zilch, nada. Do you know in the 80s, atheists used to claim that God didn't exist? But then the Christians started debating them and kicking their butts. That's right. Like how Cliff kicked Matt Dillahunty's butt in debate. You can see that right below this video. And how Dr. William Lane Craig kicked Christopher Hitchens' butt in debate. Wow, that's cool. Look at his stator. See all the oil right there? The stator area? That is so cool. That big round thing in front of his foot. And so, folks, around the 1990s, atheists started saying, okay, well, maybe God can exist, but not the Christian God. In the 90s, we moved the atheists from God doesn't exist to, okay, God can exist, but not the Christian God. Now, folks, listen to this. I don't know this guy, by the way. This is not planned. Now, because atheists have been getting their butts kicked in debate, now atheists like Matt Dillahunty, Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens before he croaked, have now said, yes, the Christian God can exist. Folks, it's a strange sort of atheism that claims the Christian God can't exist. Where's your backbone, atheist? I'll tell you where your backbone went. It went along with all the debates you guys lost when you got your butts kicked in debate. That's where it went. And so, look below this video, right below this video, and you'll see atheists throwing a temper tantrum. I got video of Matt Dillahunty cussing his parents out. He's like a little bratty kid that never grew up. You know, Matt Dillahunty's parents are Christians, like my parents are. And we just want the best for Matt. We don't want him to die and go to hell like Christopher Hitchens did. We want the best for Matt Dillahunty. But look below this video, folks, and Matt Dillahunty very disrespectful to his parents as he cusses them out. Matt's lucky this isn't the Old Testament times. You know what they would have done to Matt in the Old Testament times, folks? They would have rocked him to sleep. They would have taken him out back and brought him to the elders and said, look, our son is being a complete nut. He's being satanic. He's rebelling against us. He's being disrespectful. And they would rock him to sleep. Ah, the good old days. I got to get off here, folks. I think. Let's check the map here. Oh, good. I can go again. So what they would do is they would rock Matt to sleep. They'd stone him to death. Ah, the good old days. Let me tell you something, folks. They didn't have a lot of young men in prison back then. Because once they see someone getting rocked to sleep, we're getting off here, folks. Sorry, Ducati brother, we gotta go. Once little Billy gets rocked to sleep, I mean, this is what they do back then. I'm telling you, the Bible is very pro-death penalty. Anyone that says the Bible's not pro-death penalty is out of their mind. But anyways, they would take little Billy out there, and the elders, they would bring him, say, look, our son's like totally rebelling. He must be listening to the Atheist Experience show, and he's acting like a complete idiot, and they'd rock him to sleep. Ah, the good old days. You wouldn't have the prison problem today if that happened. You wouldn't have kids rebelling, growing up, even hitting their parents, even cussing their parents out, like you'll see right below this video where Matt Dillahunty does it. So folks, now we've moved atheists away from saying God doesn't exist to people like Matt Dillahunty and the entire cast of the Atheist Experience show are now admitting that the Christian God can exist. Why are they admitting this? Because they're getting their little butts kicked. Well, Matt, I'll talk about Matt, his big butt kicked in debate. They're getting their arses kicked in debate, and Christians are winning, folks. Listen, this is tough love. No one's slitting anyone's throat. No one's rocking them to sleep. This is the age of grace, and atheists can thank God for that, because there'd be a lot of rocking to sleep, let me tell you. It's the age of grace, thanks to Jesus Christ. And now what we do is we just ridicule them. We get the clowns and we put them in front of the mirror and we force them to look at themselves. So look right below this video for Matt doing something that, you know, in Old Testament times he'd get rocked to sleep. So why do atheists lie and say they lack a belief? Folks, they don't lack a belief. Scripture says they clearly know God exists, but they suppress the truth in their unrighteousness. They say they lack belief because they lack any arguments against God. You ever see that idiot Matt Dillahunty try to debate? He loses every time. You ever, like, look below here, you'll see him losing to a pastor. Remember when Christopher Hitchens debated Dr. William Lane Craig, and Craig's like, so you're saying the Christian God can exist. Do you have any arguments against that? And he had nothing. These atheists are clowns. Atheists believe in atheism, they say, because the other worldviews lack evidence. But this is just not true. In fact, if you get a sheet of paper and you put evidence for Christianity and you write it all down, even evidence that Muhammad lived, even evidence for Islam, evidence for a creator. You put all the evidence on the side of, let's just say, Christianity, since that's what I'm defending, and all these other views. You'll have some evidence for Islam. You'll have more evidence for Judaism, or Judaism, depending how you pronounce it. And then you'll have the most evidence for Christianity. Prophecies that came true also that were prophesied before Jesus even stepped foot on the earth as the Messiah. But on atheism, you'll have zero evidence. You have to be an intellectual midget to be an atheist. Now, I don't want to offend any midgets by saying that. I have more respect for midgets. I don't want to call them midgets, I want to call them little people. One time I was down here and there was a little people non-profit organization, and I stopped. There was a bunch of them there, and I said, hey, what are you midgets doing? And they, hey, what's your name? I go, you can call me Saint Shock. And they said, well, Saint Shock, when you call us midget, that's like you're saying the N-word to someone. And they said, we want to be called little people. And I turned to him and I said, midget, please, midget, please. That's ridiculous. But I don't want to offend any midgets, folks. So I have more respect for midgets that are Christians than the atheist midgets. So atheists have no evidence. They're in a view of which there is no evidence. You know, we have September, October, November, December, 4 more months, less than 4 more months, because we're mid-September right now, and atheists will fail the 11th year. They haven't provided proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Matt Dillahunty failed. Christopher Hitchens failed before he croaked. Richard Dawkins failed. Richard Dawkins actually said that the Christian God can exist. The same thing with Matt Dillahunty. Aaron Ross says the Christian God can exist. Every atheist that you see on YouTube has failed the Shock of God Challenge. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. Another thing, too, is they'll say that atheism is better than Christianity, but this isn't proven with facts. You know, Christians are happier, it's been proven, healthier, they have better marriages, they live longer, and they're nicer people. Do you know that? It's been proven that Christians are more giving and more forgiving than atheists. And make no mistake, folks, if atheists could run the world, they'd murder you. We can prove this by the atheist regimes, what they did when they came into power. The atheist regimes of Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, Kim Jong-il, the Khmer Rouge, and I can go on and on. They murdered hundreds of millions of women after raping them horribly, and children. They even raped some children and murdered them, and men. This is what atheists do, folks. There's atheists right now on YouTube, Sink Uger, that says people should be able to have sex with animals. Folks, atheism is sick. They're sick in the head, and we got to save them from their sickness. So it's not true when atheists say that atheists are better than Christians. They're actually worse. They're less giving, they're less charitable, they're more evil, they are more unhealthy. Have you seen some of these atheists? The drugs that they take, there's lots of them that are on antidepressants. So let's see what else. Oh, and then, you know, atheists say they're good in debate, but I've never seen an atheist provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Not even once. Not even once. Never seen it. The way you defeat an atheist in debate, we'll get to give you a little bonus real quick, is ask them, say, you agree that it's a fact that either the Christian God exists or doesn't exist. Because the Christian God can't both exist, you know, and not exist at the same time. And they're going to say yes. And then you say, well, which side, since that's the only reality, there is no possible world where a Christian God can exist and a Christian God cannot exist in that same possible world. So then you ask them, you say, let's see, how doing, brother? So then you ask them, which side do you think has more evidence? Christian God existing, Christian God not existing. And you're going to see them run from that. They will not want to claim that the Christian God doesn't exist. They're going to run like the wussies that they are. That's right, I said it. And they're not going to claim that the Christian God doesn't exist. All right, so let's look at the next one here. One of the problems that atheists do is they'll say if they can't see something with their eyes, it therefore doesn't exist. Thanks for not killing me, brother. No, man, go ahead. It's yours. Nice car. I have no evidence that this Dodge right here in front of me, the guy doesn't have a cell phone. But an atheist would say, well, therefore, since he doesn't have a cell phone, that's evidence that the cell phone doesn't exist. That's retarded. And again, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to offend retarded people by, saying they're atheist. I have more respect for Christian people that are mentally retarded than atheists that are mentally retarded. But it would be stupid, let's say it like that. Hey, look, it says the original deplorables on his car. He's a Trump supporter. So, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Because I don't have evidence that the guy that just flew away doesn't have a cell phone, I should not make the errored, stupid assumption. What is it with these cars? This guy's in that same type of car, a Dodge, and he's coming up like he's going to hit me. You can't make the assumption that therefore the cell phone does not exist. Same thing with God. We know less than 1% of what's in the universe. The atheist, it is impossible for the atheist to claim that the Christian God does not exist, since they haven't even seen a full 1% of what is in just our universe, let alone the spiritual realm. So absence of evidence, atheists, you're wrong on that. You got to get that through your thick skulls, is not evidence of absence. So let's go to the next one. Now, you can't ground morality in atheism. After all, if you're just an evolved animal, then why would rape be wrong? And what if, atheists will say, well, we as a collective group decide what's right and wrong. Well, that sounds like what Hitler did. As a collective group, they decided it was right to kill the Jews. So ask your atheist friends, was it objectively good and right that Hitler wanted to kill the Jews? They have to say, well, no, but that's, Hitler was using the atheist method of might makes right. Might. These misters feel really good. That Mr. Water is like coming over here to me. So you cannot ground objective morality in atheism. Now, who do you say has more of a foul mouth, Christians or atheists? Of course, atheists. Don't you think it's amazing that atheists are more evil than Christians? I mean, they're both sinners. Why is there one? Oh, someone's birthday over here. We're both sinners, but the Christian's saved, the atheist isn't, and the atheist actually gravitates towards sin. So you can't ground morality. Atheists are not good, they're evil, they're of the Antichrist. We got to help our atheist friends out of the stupidity of atheism. You know how Scripture says the beginning of wisdom is fear of God. The beginning of wisdom. Well, what does that mean? Fear of God. Well, you want to believe everything that God believes. You want to hate everything that God hates, and you want to love everything that God loves. God hates atheism. God loves the atheist. So that should be our attitude. We hate with everything in our body the stench and putrid. It's like atheism's like a pile of poop, just putrid and stenchy, and it brings no benefit to the world. Like we mentioned earlier, the atheist leaders sure brought a lot of murder. Look, whoops, I let go of the throttle. Look below here and you'll see or did that guy bump me? That guy behind me in the Dodge. So, let's see. Yeah, so Christians are kinder and more loving. Do you know that they've done surveys and Christians have come out on top as the most kindest, loving, most charitable people, and atheists rank lower than homosexuals and Muslims. That's right. Atheists rank lower than homosexuals and Muslims. As if you could get any lower than that. I never thought I'd see the day where a man can marry a man and a woman could marry a woman. Are people out of their mind? Let's go to the last one. Number 7, atheists will lie and say Thomas Jefferson and the founders were atheists. This is just a big fat lie. Thomas Jefferson said, and I quote, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just and that his justice cannot rest forever." Do you know that all the signers of the Constitution and Declaration admitted that God exists? All of them. Now, there were like 53 Christians and 55 signers. There were a couple of deists. But again, they're admitting God exists. There weren't any nut job atheists in the bunch. This is why America is the greatest country in the world. I strongly suggest you guys get a book. I don't get anything for saying it's a great book. It will unbrainwash you. You know, the evil terrorist organization Black Lives Matter, who my black Christian brothers and sisters hate with the passion because they're a Marxist organization, and evil Antifa. These, where's this guy? Where's the cop or ambulance? These organizations are trying to lie and say our founders were like all against religion. No, no, no. Our founders were very, very Christian. They have the actual Bible of George Washington, his actual journal where he talked about how he went to church. He taught the soldiers you should have Christian forbearance. And where is this? Oh, I can't see anything. Oh, it's behind us. Let's pull over here. Patrick Henry even said, it can never be emphasized too often or too strongly that this great nation was founded, and this book, by the way, America's God and Country by William Federer, I've actually talked to him, and he was on the radio, and it was a Christian radio station. It was great. Look for America's God and Country, and they have actual letters that the founders had written to their mom and their dad and their friends and their wives, etc., their brothers. And Patrick Henry said, quote, "It can never be emphasized too often or too strongly that this great nation was founded not by religionists, but by Christians, not on religion, but on the gospel of Jesus Christ. It is for this reason that people of other faiths and other religions are afforded asylum to come worship here." In other words, the founders wanted to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. What better way to do it than to invite people to this wonderful country, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all? What better way than to invite the Muslims to America to show them the truth of Christianity? What better way than to invite the atheists to America to show them the truth of Christianity? Yes, folks, we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible. That's right, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And may I add, amen. That's like the weird, oh, it's Border Patrol? What the heck? So atheists, I ask you, why do you lie about these 7 things? And atheists, how could you be so stupid as to believe that nothing created everything? Oh, atheist, atheist. You know, one of the things that's really lame is Richard Dawkins. He has this he says, yes, God can exist, and he has a scale that he made up, like 1 to 6. Well, you know, I think God can exist like he's like I'm a level 2 that God can exist. Well, no, I'm a level, maybe I'm a level 3 that God can exist. Like 1 is God doesn't exist, and then it's just so stupid. See, Dawkins needs to think rational. The fact of the matter is, there is no lame scale. The Christian God rationally exists or doesn't exist. If you think he doesn't exist, give us your arguments. So let's end this like this, folks. How do you debate and defeat an atheist every single time? Every time. Ask them, say, there's really 2 facts. Either the Christian God exists or he doesn't. When we're talking about the Christian God, there's 2 facts, 2 things from you to choose from. One of them is a fact. The Christian God exists or he doesn't. It is a fact that those are the only 2 choices. The Christian God exists or he doesn't exist. He can't exist and not at the same time. Then you ask your atheist friend, which side do you think is right? Which side do you think has more evidence? Christian God existing or Christian God not existing? And if they have the guts, which they won't, they'll never say the Christian God not existing, because remember, they lack arguments for the existence of God. But if you ever find one in a million that says the Christian God not existing has more evidence, then say, where's your evidence? Take it from me, folks. Saint Shock. Ask them, where is your proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct? Because, folks, they have no proof and evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your humble servant, Shock of God. We've been doing this challenge now. It's going to be 11 years, and no atheist has been able to conquer it. No, folks. No atheists here on YouTube. Hundreds have tried. They all have failed. What proof and evidence is the challenge, my atheist? What proof and evidence can you provide that would finally, at last, prove that atheism is accurate and correct? If you don't have any proof and evidence, you've been fooled, atheist, by your daddy Satan. You've been tricked. You've been fooled. Don't be the fool, atheist. How someone can believe in atheism, a view of which has no evidence, is beyond me, folks. What's the word I'm looking for atheism as I tap my finger to the GoPro? Oh, madness! Atheism is madness. Now, folks, if you want to see Matt Dillahunty basically cursing out his parents, look right below this video. You'll see Matt's got some psychological issues he's got to work out with mommy and daddy. He's really got some psychological issues.